he had to take his mother to Quad Cities. His dad got admitted to the hospital. Don't know what any details, but
Okay.
that's where Jeremy is. So thoughts and prayers with the England family. We'll call the meeting to order. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. Becky would do the roll.
Sure will. Jim Sheenline.
Here.
Mike Book.
Here.
Tom Kitson.
Present.
Larry Mimini.
Here.
Tim Bivens.
Here.
Nancy Naylor.
Present.
Okay, we've got the minutes from the budget overview meeting. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at those minutes? Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Moved by Bivens, seconded by Naylor. Gotta be faster, Larry. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carried. All right, and we're going to get right into it. Okay. Previous budget. Oh, do I have that other one to do? I just have the A, right, Becky? The approval. Okay. Yep. I'm with it. All right. We will move right on to our funding allocations and our visitor presentations. I don't know who wants to go first. Yeah, have everybody signed in? Mission one. City. Yeah. Nancy Taylor. They did that last time. Yep, I remember that. Okay. Well, I guess the fair way to do it is just go down the list of the sign-ins. So Kathy Grumbagen. Yep. So.
Okay.
There you
Thanks.
go. Okay.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Kathy Groenhagen, and this is Rob Geroltowski, and we're with Serenity Hospice and Home out of Oregon, Illinois. We're requesting funding for our, I don't want to call them non-essentials, but the extra services and added therapies that we provide that are not covered by Medicare and Medicaid. We have a very robust integrative therapies program. It covers massage therapy, music therapy, virtual therapy, virtual reality, which is really neat. If you haven't seen it, you should come check it out. We have pet therapy. We have, a whole aromatherapy I wanted to mention. We also have an outstanding We Honor Veterans program, which is not funded by any of the Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurances. We're a level 5, which is the highest honors you can get. We are located, our office and our home is in Ogle County, but we serve the 8 counties that surround it, and also the town of Ohio in Bureau County. Last year, we served 99 patients from Lee County, and as of today, we've already served 117 Lee County patients in our hospice program. We also currently have 23 on our palliative care program. Palliative care, I don't know if you know the differences between palliative and hospice, but with palliative care, you can still go see your doctor, get all your recurring treatments and everything. We're just an added layer of care on top of that. With those 2 programs combined, it helps us identify when patients can transfer to hospice sooner and get more services and get better care all along the way. So we're making big moves into Lee County. We've added our Angel Treasures 3 store. I don't know if you guys have had a chance. I remember, Tim, your comment last year was really funny. And so we are invested in Lee County as much as we are in Ogle County. I don't really know what else I want to tell you. You guys are all familiar with our program. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
And you've last year we were able to fund you at the $3,600 level and you've asked for $4,000 again. So,
Correct.
okay. All right. Does the committee have any questions?
Maybe not just specifically on her, but
Yeah.
on the Serenity, but we used to get a project completion, not a project completion, but we used to get their budgets, we used to get their fund balances. We don't have that anymore
Yeah.
Did we have,
because it's not on our agenda here.
in the resource?
Oh, so they're, okay, I'll look, okay. Thank you.
See.
As he said earlier, government has its ways.
Mhm.
We're still learning how to use it.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, technology's been a challenge this month for everybody. So
How many did you say you've serviced this year already?
117.
117. So that's what, 35, 40 bucks a person? I mean, what your request is here is when you break it down. So it's
Yeah.
very cheap.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. No further questions. Yes, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. All right. Susan Welch. Lee County Council of Aging. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, Susie. I knew that.
Hey, Susie, will you push the green button for you?
Is that better?
Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, I can hear myself now.
There you go.
I'm the new executive director at Lee County Council on Aging. That would be Lee County's senior center.
Mhm.
And like most senior centers, we are here to provide services throughout the county for seniors, along with programs that encourage their involvement in the community, their independence, and supporting them along that journey. I heard somebody say that they needed some help with their tablets. We are in the process of helping seniors get online and learn the new world of technology. So you might want to make an appointment with Miss Aaliyah. She's a saint. She has patience like you wouldn't believe, and you can come back many times for the same question. We also probably are more known for the senior bus. So last year we did over 10,000 rides. We serviced 3,023 seniors with various multiple services. We've introduced lots of new chances to combat social isolation, one of which is Breakfast Club, where a group of senior citizens that might not know each other get together at one of Lee County's diners for breakfast once a month. They're going to Ashton this month. So it's just a lot of camaraderie. We introduced nutrition to the center, where we brought back Lifescapes for community congregate meals. We have farmer voucher markets, coupons. We had 75 vouchers and 150 households wanted them. So that led us to start a fresh produce giveaway every Tuesday. We do a lot of our work through partnering with other agencies. Our biggest partner, of course, is Reagan Mass Transit. They help us do what we get to do. This year, they had to bail me out significantly. We ran over our allotment for transportation by $37,000. So they were able to help me this year, but they told me I need to do something to get it in line. That's why I've asked for more money, because I can't, my other choice is reduce services. We've already reduced 1 hour of our transportation. So instead of serving from 6 to 5, we're serving from 7 a.m. to 5. We've already reduced our vehicles where we're using minivans as much as possible to save on gasoline. But even with all these measures that I've been doing, I'm still looking at a $15,000 gap. You might know 1/3 of our funding comes from Reagan Mass Transit. 1/3 of our funding comes from the combination of NIA and the senior levy. And then 1/3 of our funding comes from whatever money makers we can do. One of our prize money makers, of course, is the post house.
Do you mind if I don't want to interrupt you.
Nope. Do you have
So,
questions?
so one of the things that, you know, we're kind of in the same boat, Susie, but one of the things that we constantly are challenging our department heads with, and as a nonprofit, I'm sure you're doing it, but I have to ask, you know, we work very well with Darren LaHood's office, Congressman Darren LaHood, and there are multiple opportunities for grant opportunities that we get on a monthly basis, sometimes bi-weekly basis, that's available. Are you have somebody that's looking at those
Yes.
opportunities?
The representative also, they've stopped by to see me and send me possible grants. But the ones I've been seeing are really not a senior center level. I was fortunate enough at NIR gave us a grant because our computers were ready to all go. So we got the computer lab brought up to speed, and the teacher, she got a new computer. NIA was very kind to us and gave us additional funding in the amount of $150,000 to buy minivans and a new bus. Otherwise, we'd be putting a lot of money into repairs of the old buses we had. So everybody so far has really been helping out and chipping in. It's not going to be a one place fix it type thing. I do plan on hopefully applying for some funding because, you know, our foundation has issues, and I'm hoping to be able to get a grant for those types of things and make it a little bit more appealing on the outside, because you can imagine it is deteriorating. It's 100+ years old.
Right.
So unfortunately, as we age, things don't get better.
Right. And we know all about dealing with a older building.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions for Susie?
Yeah, I'm sorry, did you say 2,000 rides? That's what you've, I understand you right.
We served 3,023 seniors in Lee County.
But I thought you said you'd provided like 2,000 rides with the,
Over 100,000 rides.
okay, thank you.
And then the units of service, I think, was right around almost 20,000. So that might be somebody came to the fresh fruit and vegetable. Somebody might have came and got a license plate sticker discount.
So is there any change in any financing between you and Reagan Transit that has changed since they were lots? I mean, is that?
They gave us $6,000 more. But along with that, our share, our matching fund went up to 4%, up 4%. So instead of 20% matching, we have to do 24. The way their funding source is, they must have 35% matching funds. So they've been giving us a bargain all these years, only charging us 20. So it's kind of, it is our turn to step up. And since it's all operating funds for us, the match, according to IDOT, is 35%. So we'll be inching our way up over the next few years to that amount.
Any other questions for Susie? And I guess before we started, I guess I should have made a comment kind of on what expectations should be. So what we're purpose tonight is to hear from all of you. Again, I mean, we've heard a lot. We know you guys pretty well. We've heard the presentations over the years, but still there's, faces that change around this table. So we still like people to have the opportunity to hear your story. And that's really what to hear. As far as what allotment will be given, will be decided as we go through our budget process as well. Last year we were because our budget was tight. We had to reduce, as Susie well knows, had to reduce some of the money we were allowed allocated to give out to social services. We're probably going to be in the same boat this year. But we're going to do our best to see, because you're all deserving. I just want to say that up front. But everybody has their budget realities, and so do we. So I just wanted to, I should have started before you guys got going. I should have started with that. But anyway, I got it in there. But any further questions for Susie? Okay. Well, thank you, Susie. Appreciate you coming in and telling us your story. All right. Mr. Bonds, how are you this evening? All right.
I'm here for the city of Amboy the mayor couldn't make it. He's on vacation this week, so I had to replace him. And it's just mainly most of the stuff we do for our seniors are up at our community building and that, because that's the only place big enough for them. And that, so we're just mainly wanting to get them out in the community where they come in to it, visit with their own people their age or younger people even come in too. So it's just, that's our request for that. So thank you.
All right, very good. Any questions for Bill? All right, thank you. Oh, Tim.
Do you know how many people that you service? Did you say that?
Well, like on our Christmas dinner, we'll have a Christmas dinner maybe once at Christmas and once at Easter. We'll get 150 to 200 people in that. So it is successful that way,
Thank you.
All right, any other questions for Bill? Okay. All right, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. All right, Julie and Broderick. Hi.
Mike, does that help? Oh, okay. I'm Julie Schupner. I'm the regional long-term care ombudsman and program director with Catholic Charities for the long-term care ombudsman program. I see a lot of familiar faces, so I'm not going to do a deep dive into our program, and we've provided our application, but we are the sole designated provider of advocacy services for adults that reside in long-term care. So that's anyone over the age of 18. And Catholic Charities has had the privilege of being the sole provider since the onset when the grant was originally written, way back in the 1980s. So we have provided services for the 9 northwestern counties of Illinois, one of those being Lee County. So we're designated in the Older Americans Act for the services that we provide. And we receive not only federal, but some state funding for our program, mainly through Title VII and Title IIIB funding. And those fundings do require a match. So our request for funding helps assist us with meeting our required match and also providing service as an outreach program. So our office is actually located in Rockford, but we service 9 counties. So we're out. With me today is Broderick Hooker. He's my long-term care ombudsman that's been visiting Lee County for over 2 years. He knows the county well. And I was a little bit hard of a handoff because prior to him, I'd been coming here for quite a few years, and Lee was my county. So we have a lot of familiarity with everyone and the facilities that we service and those we service. So our goal really when we are in long-term care facilities is to advocate under the residents' direction with their permission. And a big piece of that is making sure that all pieces are coming together to encourage whatever the residents' goals are, that we work towards those goals, whether it's transitioning into the community, their goals to get back home, we want to do that. If it's living at the highest possible level of independence, whatever that looks like for that person, we encourage that and help them along the way. And I have to say, as I'm listening to everyone here, we've touched on every service that's here somehow. We've all interacted. And I think that that's just really wonderful that we're all here coming together. The Post House Ballroom, I don't know how many times we've had meetings there and attended. You know, in the same way with Serenity, we interact with hospices a lot, and Lifescape's been mentioned. I can't tell you how many referrals we do to them, and it's all working towards the common goal of really elevating that level of independence for the adults that are there in long-term care. So if you have any questions, I can answer that, but I thought maybe Brody could just speak briefly with you about what his visits look like in Lee County.
Like to hear that.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Broderick Hooker, but you can call me Brody. So I go to 13 facilities here in the county, 3 of which are skilled nursing homes, and then the rest of which are either assisted living, supportive living, or ICFDDs, which are group homes. And actually, out of all the counties that I visit, and possibly even in our program, I'm not sure, might be more ICFDDs than any other county. But so all of my homes I have a regular presence in. So the skilled nursing homes I'm in at least once a month. I make a point to introduce myself to any new residents that have moved in, some of which, might be there for just a short-term stay, some of which, maybe have been there for a long time. So I, get to know residents in my buildings, and I explain our program, what their rights are as residents, and if they want our assistance, in some cases in returning back to the community, then we can assist with that. We work with staff. We've worked with agencies such as RAMP to meet those residents' goals and to try and get them back home. And if going back home isn't in the cards, then, we work on getting them as much independence as they can and making sure their stay in whatever long-term care setting they're in is comfortable and that they're getting their needs met.
Can I ask a question? Jim?
Sure.
Go
Do
ahead.
you have any complaints when you go visit these homes?
Well, that's kind of what we do. I like to say we're kind of like a dispute resolution department, right? Because usually when we do routine visits, and I'm not only talking from experience, but my staff reporting too, a lot of times those routine visits are walking up and down the hallways, knocking on doors, going in and talking to residents and asking those questions. How are you doing? Do you have your needs? How are they with answering your call lights? When your food comes, is it hot? Do you get water when you need it? When would you like a snack? And doing those probing questions really is the best way, and the face-to-face meeting is what's most impactful. Our posters are hung in the building, so they have a way to contact us that way, but some residents, when they're there, maybe they don't notice them or they just can't get out of their room for a while to see them. So absolutely, we talk to residents and we handle the complaints. The uniqueness about our program is that everything we do is resident directed. So we only act under the direction of the resident. And every conversation we have is private and confidential, and we don't share anything without permission. So many times we get complaints from other agencies, the police department, family members, a friend from church, it could be anyone in the community or in long-term care, and staff as well. But we always start with the resident. So there could be a daughter maybe that doesn't like that her mom isn't showering 3 or 4 days a week. We go and talk to the mom and she's like, no, I don't want any showers. I want one a week and that's it. So we sort through a lot of that stuff and just make sure that the resident, whether they're there for a day, 100 days, a month, whatever that looks like for them, that it's their wishes and their goals are respected and their safety that's being addressed and managed. Hopefully that answers you.
Thank you.
Okay.
My question is just, what do you do about the residents that can't speak for themselves? Whether, I mean, think of some that, what comes to mind for me is residents that are older, maybe they can't speak or they, their memory is gone. They have some kind of condition like a dementia or an Alzheimer's.
And that's a great question. We encounter that quite a bit with the work that we do. So we always start with the resident. And if we go and find that they can't give us direction, then we have protocols in place for that. So then we would look at their legal decision maker, whether it's an appointed family friend, a power of attorney, a legal guardian, whether it's through the state or a family member that's a legal guardian. And the only time we don't really take direction from that person is if they're implicated in some sort of an abuse or neglect as a possible perpetrator. And when that happens, we take direction from our state office that goes under the presumption that no one would want to be abused or neglected. So we're going to go under that and work towards getting them out of whatever situation's been brought to us. And our training is extremely extensive, and our continuing education to maintain our certification through the state is extensive as well. So a lot of that includes dementia training and always looking for new opportunities to be caught up with that type of training for our staff. So we're, right in the moment with everything that's going on. Yep.
All right, and your request is, we have here is $3,000. You received $2,250 last year, and you put your request back in for $3,000 this year.
And I was going to mention that because on my application, when I was reviewing it, I noticed I put 25 and I'm like, no, it was 2250. So I was going to mention that correction. Yeah. We have some funding sources, but as I think everyone here has mentioned and brought up, everything goes up. As an outreach program, we're always in the car. So it's fuel. It's increasing staff wages to meet the increasing staff wages that are taking place for our state. So we have a responsibility to be in the buildings. However, the additional funding allows a larger presence in the buildings too. So. And you might have noticed, we had one building in Lee County that closed in January of 2023. But if you look at the residents that we, from our census numbers, because residents come in and out of long-term care pretty frequently, the numbers went up. So even though one building closed, we actually saw more residents in the last year than we did the previous year.
Very good. Tim?
Yeah, same line of questioning I gave everybody else or asked everybody else. You offer services to all residents.
Correct.
What number, do you have a number of those who actually use the service and say, yeah, I need this service?
It's a really hard question to answer for us because when we go into long-term care and we work with residents.
Julie, I need
I'm
you
sorry.
to be closer in the mic.
Okay.
Thank you. Or else Becky's going to yell at me.
Okay.
So.
I don't want that. When we go into long-term care, we don't know the full impact of the conversations that we have. So a resident may not ask for our assistance right then, but they may share it with a family member who reaches out to us later. So to get an exact number of those served is difficult for us. So what I look at whenever we do applications like this is what's the unduplicated count of residents that we've contacted. So we look at the census numbers for the buildings and we take the highest census number for each building for the 12 months. And that's the number that we put in for residents served, if that makes sense. Not every person we talk to ends up being a case for us to manage. It may be empowering
do you log
them.
the cases then? I mean, do you have a set number of cases per month, per year? You don't know?
You know what? It ebbs and flows really, because sometimes staffing changes in buildings affect the number of complaints that we receive, you know, so we may have 50 complaints at one building and then the next year we have 10. So it really just changes. And there's no real rhyme or reason. We have a few factors that come up that may affect that. But we see all residents. So when we walk the hallways and do our routine visits, we're trying to touch with every resident that we encounter. However, we've got brochures that are in the buildings. We've got posters. We also do community education events where we reach out to the community and get our resources and our information out that way as well. So,
Thank you.
sure, absolutely.
I don't know how to word this question because it's probably a stupid one because I know
Never.
Catholic Charities through the immigration process.
Mhm.
What legal bindings do you have to go to these places? Is there a government agency that backs you up? Or do you go to state's attorneys or what do you do? What's the, just,
Okay, well, we have referrals that we can make for legal services that are
Okay.
covered through Prairie State Legal Service. And they have a grant that they work off of to provide free legal service to seniors as needed. So that's the main place that we get the legal assistance for residents as needed. We also work with APS on certain situations where, if say financial abuse or the perpetrators in the community and the residents in long-term care, they assist with that too, and they can make legal service referrals as they work with us and the resident to resolve those concerns as well. But I will say that legal services in general, it can be a challenge for us because like Prairie State, they work off of a grant. So they can only accept a certain amount of cases too. So sometimes we do struggle in finding legal representation for the residents as needed. I hopefully that answered the question.
yeah,
Maybe
it's-
not.
It's fine, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, did I understand you to say that you also help, say I'm in a home somewhere
Mhm.
and someone is trying to take my money outside of there?
Mhm.
You take care, help with that also?
Yes.
Okay.
So there was a change in the wording of the Adult Protective Services Act that allows us to work with them. And it was a struggle prior to that because they have authority in the community. We have authority in long-term care. So we could never really interact together, but absolutely. So if many times we get a phone call either from maybe financial institution, or it could be a business office manager in long-term care that says, I think something's going on here. The bill hasn't been paid. The power of
Okay.
attorney for finance isn't calling me back. Something's going on. So they will alert us and then we can follow up with the resident when possible. And the resident's unable to give direction, then we go from there through our processes that I discussed
I
earlier.
would guess that we've probably asked you more questions tonight we have in the last 3 years. And I
May?
apologize,
was
but these
kinda
things come up
thinking
and it's nice to, it just jogs your memory of different things that go on. And my initial thought was that you probably are starting to win the war because nursing homes know you're there or care facilities know you're there. But the staff changes, the problems on the outside affect this. So the battle, I'm sure it's getting better than when you first started,
Yes.
but the battle goes on. So
It does. It would be a wonderful day if it came to the point that our services were no longer needed. I don't see
Oh,
that happening.
no.
I tell my staff, we don't make widgets. We work with human beings and individuals and we're fallible. All of us are. So, things happen and we just try to make it the best we can for the residents.
Well,
while
we
they're there.
appreciate what you do. And
Thank you.
like I say, we ask you more questions tonight than I know we have in the last 3 years. So
Fantastic. I welcome them. So, and we just want to say thank you because in the past you've supported our program and we value that and appreciate the opportunity to talk with you further tonight. So
Right.
thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So our last presenter is online, and that's Mike Hughes with Lifescape. So, Mike, are you with us?
Yeah. Yeah. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep. Go right ahead.
Great.
Mike. Appreciate you being
First,
here.
I apologize for being online. I had my son in Madison this morning and I was in a rush. So I appreciate you allowing me to do this online. It's very helpful for me to do that. If you can't hear me or understand me, please let me know. I'll be happy to adjust anything that I need to adjust. The one change I want to point out in the front end of this presentation is in years past, we have asked for funding in 2 of our services in Lee County. The 2 services were Meals on Wheels, is what we're asking for this year. And the other one was Adult Protective Services. Catholic Charities referenced them a minute ago, our APS program. Speaking with our staff over the course of the last month or two, one of the things that we're running into is that we are tremendously over budget for our food costs. Our food costs over 2 years have gone up about 28%. We are about, this fiscal year, we're about $130,000 over budget for food. I'll figure that out. I'm not asking for any extra money. Matter of fact, in years past between those 2 services, the taxpayers have assisted us with $11,000 between the 2 services. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for additional funding for that. We would just like to shift that from Adult Protective Services and Meals on Wheels to just Meals on Wheels because of the increase. It's not just our food costs per item have gone up about 18%, and our food costs because of need of how many people we serve, that accounts for another 10% or so of our food costs going up. We have a policy where we don't turn anybody down. Everybody gets Meals on Wheels that comes and requests them. So the numbers that I've cited in the presentation that I gave to you folks, those are up to the end of June only. So this will show you the increase that we've had. So through the October 1st, which our fiscal year starts, through the end of June, we have served 207 senior citizens in Lee County with 23,192 meals on a daily basis. We've done that. So, you know, if anybody hasn't heard about how we run Meals on Wheels, I can answer those questions. But essentially, you know, we have very strict requirements for dietary requirements. We have 6 routes that touch Lee County right now, 6 different routes that go in there, and we see a tremendous growth in it for that. So that is the biggest need we have, is that just the growth in the need, and then the growth in food costs have really hampered our ability to expand. But we will expand. Whatever you decide, the taxpayers have always been very generous with us. We will never turn down a client. We'll make other decisions for that. But essentially, we provide 1/3 of each meal has to provide 1/3 of the caloric intake, plus a bunch of different requirements for vitamins and different things that we provide. Many of our clients get more than 1 meal a day based on need. Some of our clients, if we don't provide them with more meals, they will eat the 1 meal we provide, and that's all they'll eat. So we provide a sack dinner or a frozen meal to them as well, so they can get their nutrition. But one of the things that we are really proud of recently, and we've worked with Susie and the Lee County Council on Aging, we did reopen our congregate site in Dixon there. And I'll tell you, Susie, we run a transportation program. It's rough right now. When she's telling you how hard that is to run a transportation program, she's right. And that's rough right now. And I know they do good work there. So we were able to include, some more congregate dining in Lee County as well. So we provide that meal. One of the other things that we do is many of our clients, the only person they'll see that day is our driver. Our driver will be there, and that's the only person they see. Now, the nice part is we provide so many different other services. We are the Adult Protective Service provider. We're the care coordination unit for Lee County. So if there's a problem, if there's an issue, we have other services to refer out to, and we're able to take care of that client more holistically. So that's, if you have any questions about how we do Meals on Wheels, or, we are currently serving 4 counties with Meals on Wheels. We are this year all in for our Meals on Wheels program. We're looking at about 500,000 meals we're going to provide in the 4 counties that we're in. So we do a lot of food. So, and again, my only change, same amount of money I'm asking for, is I'm asking to not give money to Adult Protective Services and shift that money over to Meals on Wheels program. So I'm open to any questions anybody might have.
Anybody have any questions from the committee? Tom, go ahead.
Mike, you do deliver then to the door at the home, which in the rural areas and stuff. Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Yep. 100%.
And I had a gentleman call me recently from Amboy wanting to get something set up for a family member. And I guess you can just look Lifescapes up on the internet to get the number and stuff, correct?
Well, I'll tell you what I do. Becky, who by the way is outstanding for you folks there. She has my email address. Yeah, shoot me an email. I'll take care of it personally. We do this all the time. I'll make sure that we
That's
get
fine.
that.
And I think he may have called you. I got to follow up with him. But he
Yeah.
called me and asked what to do, and I suggested that work with you. So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I
we'll
was
take care of
correct.
it. Yep. We have 4. I'm sorry.
Well, I know at one point you told us maybe 3 or 4 years ago
But they
that you took a group of meals to Pawpaw, and they used to eat in a. People would come there and eat.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
There's a
Okay, I wasn't sure.
That was-
going to party.
That was a congregate dining site like we're doing with Dixon now.
Yeah.
What happened with Pawpaw was our average client that showed up on a day there was like 1.2 people.
Oh, boy.
And so we were having a paid employee. We were bringing meals there, and the cost effectiveness didn't work for 1.2 people
Yeah.
on average per day. That's why we
Okay.
didn't do it at Pawpaw.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Any
Again, thank
other
you for letting me do
questions?
this virtually. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mike? Okay, Mike, thank you for being with us tonight. We appreciate you telling your story.
Thank you so much.
You bet. All right, that's everyone that signed in and also online and present. So we have, if you go to your resource folder, right, Beck? There'll be the other, let's see, and what's under which? Okay, there it is. Oh, I'm looking for the. Well, I've got the break. Oh, here's the request. Okay. That's what I was looking for. Because what I thought we would do is we just go through the ones, the written requests on the folks that didn't come tonight. So we have, so the first one is the KSB Meals on Wheels. And their request this year, I think we gave them $3,600 last year. Their request is $4,000. Right. And okay, next one would be Rock River Valley Hospice. And their funding request is $5,000. Village of Ashton. And their funding request of $5,000.
Dixon Public Library is on there too, and they did not send a request or an application.
Oh, they did not? Okay. And now, of course, my tablet won't let me out of.
He needs that class.
Yeah, where's my class? Where's my help?
Go together.
There it goes. No, it wouldn't close the page. I'm sitting there tapping on it and it wouldn't close the page. Okay, and then the Village of Pawpaw for their senior center and their request of $2,500. So as I indicated, our purpose tonight is not to make any decisions. I think we'll circle back, as we go through our regular budget process, that we have the hearings tomorrow and Thursday And then we'll take this in consideration along with all of our other departments. So, and figure out what the budget's going to be this year. So,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
I'd like to make a
Mr.
comment
Treasurer. Yes.
for those that are here. For those of you that are here, you should see a check in the mail this Thursday or Friday for the request that you were here last year on, because that's the levy that we just had a first distribution. So that has come in, and so we're pushing out the checks from what was requested or approved last year. I just wanted to give them an update. Mike online, you know, I think yours is going to come as one check, you know, for the two different operations, and process it how you need. So I just wanted to let them know that the check they'll see is really last year's levy request.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. All right. So is there any comments from the committee, or are everybody ready to go for tomorrow morning? Bright and early and with bells on, correct? All right. Well, very good. If there's no other discussion, I guess once again, I thank everybody for coming tonight, and appreciate everything that you guys do. Every single program that we see comes before us. You know, we understand the need, and you know, we wish that, you know, we had unlimited resources and we could do more than what you've requested. So, because you're all deserving. So, and we really appreciate everything that you do. So, all right. If nothing else before the committee, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, moved by Lirim, seconded by Book. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.